Okay, so let's get started. I want to begin by welcoming everybody to LaSalle University. It's very exciting to have you all join me this evening. I am Nicole Blair. I am the manager of our part-time MBA programs here at LaSalle. I manage two different part-time MBA programs. We have, of course, our online MBA program that you are beginning on Monday. We also have a hybrid MBA program in which courses are 50% online and 50% on campus. So of course, today we're going to be talking specifically about your program and getting started and go over everything you may need to know. I do have a chat feature. I think all of you have found it and responded to my messages. So if you have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to log any questions into that group chat. I will do my best to monitor those questions and answer them as they come up. If I miss anything, I'll certainly address them at the end. I do have everybody muted at this time. I will, at a couple of times throughout the presentation, unmute all microphones and give you the opportunity to speak if you would like as well. So I just wanted you to be aware. I want to make sure everybody can hear me okay without the background noise that may be happening over other microphones. So as I mentioned, my name's Nicole Blair. I have been in my role managing the programs for a couple of months, but prior to that, I was the assistant director for about 8.5 years. So I've been working with our part-time MBA students for over 9 years. Prior to that time, I was exactly where you are. I was pursuing my MBA degree, and that was at LaSalle University. For me, I had such a great experience in LaSalle's MBA program that when the opportunity to work at LaSalle in the MBA department became available, I thought there was no better option than to help other students, such as all of you, get the same great experience that I got in LaSalle's program. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I do what I do every day. If you ever need to talk to somebody in the program and I'm not available, Eileen O'Donnell is my assistant, and she is well-versed on the part-time MBA programs and can certainly assist you in my absence should you need immediate assistance. I do want to take a few minutes just to do a quick introduction. One of the things that I've noticed as a student at LaSalle, as well as working with students over the last couple of years, is that, of course, you're going to learn a lot from your faculty. Especially here at LaSalle, we are an AACSB accredited program, and that means our faculty are both academically and professionally qualified. So of course you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get a lot of information from the different courses in our program, business knowledge, but you're also going to have an opportunity to learn from your peers. We have a very diverse student population, students that come from many different backgrounds, working in many different fields, and that really adds to your learning environment in a way that I never could have imagined before enrolling in LaSalle's program myself. So I want to take a moment, introduce all of you to each other because you'll be in classes with each other. And you'll be able to see the diversity just from the couple of new students that we have with us here in our orientation. So I'm going to unmute your microphones. I'm going to call you out one by one. And if you can just give us your name, your location. I think most of you joining us tonight are local to Philadelphia, but we do have a couple of new students that are from other states across the United States. So if you can just tell us where you are located. Tell us a little bit about your professional and educational background, something interesting about yourself, and then finally tell me what you hope to learn or gain from tonight's orientation. Billy, would you mind going first for us?
So, hello everyone. My name is Billy Natoli. I am currently in Sicklerville, New Jersey, so that's about 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia region. I attended my undergrad at Rowan University, where I was a dual major of accounting and finance. I currently work as an accounting analyst over at Freedom Mortgage in Marlton, New Jersey. Something interesting about myself, I'm actually part of the Philadelphia Mummers Parade every New Year's Day. So I get to do that every year. And what I hope to learn from tonight is how the LaSalle MBA program is actually run, and I hope that I've made the right decision in choosing LaSalle University.
Thank you, Billy. That's so interesting that you're in the parade each year. And I think that you will find you made the right decision. And I hope that you're able to confirm that for yourself after today's session. Thank you so much. Christopher Simmons. I'm unable to mute your microphone, so either that means you have to unmute it or perhaps you don't have access to one. If you don't have access to a microphone, you can log into the chat feature, a quick introduction, and I can read it for everybody.
Okay, I think I do.
Oh,
Are you able to hear me? Cool.
Yep, I can hear you, Chris.
Okay, so yeah, as you said, my name is Christopher Simons. Right now I live in Pittsburgh, although my wife and my family and I were planning to relocate to Philadelphia this coming summer, so that's pretty exciting. The past few years I've been working in financial services in a technology capacity. I was working at BNY Mellon with an asset management group and then an FX trading desk. About a year and a half ago, I took a job with a cryptocurrency trading company. So, I'm pretty interested in that space and looking forward to learning more about that stuff in the financial markets generally in this program. Not sure what's interesting about myself, but I'm married with a wife and daughter, yeah, just eager to move over to Philadelphia this coming summer. As far as the orientation goes, I guess I'm just hoping for kind of a sanity check and making sure I'm not missing anything that I need to have lined up so that I'm ready to get started next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, Chris. And what brings you to Philadelphia? Is your job transferring or wife's job?
Actually, no, not jobs bringing us there. We do have some family up around there, so we're hoping to be closer to them.
Very nice.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay, James Slater.
Audio. My name is James Slater, but I guess I'll start with my interesting fact, which is I actually go by Jake. I know it's a little weird, but my name is Jake Slater. Real name is James. It's a translation thing from when my family came over to the U.S. generations ago, and I'm named after my great-grandfather. I'm in Voorhees, New Jersey, so much like Billy in Sicklerville, I'm about 20, 30 minutes. As far as profession goes, I've spent my entire career working at DIY Media Group. We make CDs, vinyl, and distribution for independent artists. So some of the films you see on Netflix or some of your favorite artists, that's my job, is to make their physical product and digitally distribute it. As far as what I'm trying to gain from this, just try to understand the actual online process. I got my undergrad at La Salle, so I'm used to the La Salle learning process and teaching process, but not so much the online class process. So I'm interested in learning more about that.
Very good. Thank you, Jake. And I see we have two people joining us over the phone. I can't see what your name is, so if you want to jump in and do a quick introduction, we'd love to hear from you.
I'm not sure. I was
Oh, I can hear you
logged
now.
in late. Oh, hey, this is Chris McGovern calling.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, I logged in a couple minutes late. I just wanted to let you know really quick. The email that you sent out this afternoon, it's got the wrong meeting ID. I don't know if you talked about that. If I missed that in the little section, but it's right. It's correct in the link. That's actually why I joined late. I figured out that the ID was wrong. I wasn't sure if you wanted to send a quick email out to anyone that might want to join.
Not joining us. Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, my name is Chris McGovern, and I am a chemical engineer. That's what my career has been largely since I graduated from Penn State. I suppose an interesting fact about me is that career path has taken me all across the U.S., and it's complemented my love of hiking. So I used to live not too far from the Smoky Mountains, and I would do that, oh my gosh, almost every weekend. And then I got spoiled, and now I live in Pennsylvania, and there's still hills, but they're not quite the Smokies. And what I'm hoping to get out of this, I'm really interested in the financial sector. I was lucky enough to delve into that with my last position, and it really intrigued me. And so I'm hoping to understand how to use the Canvas structure, the webmail feature, as well as all these other Microsoft applications like SharePoint. And I'm really excited to learn from the instructors.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. And thank you for sharing that tidbit that I sent out the wrong link. Now I'm worried.
Well, it's only off by one number. So in the you sent the email link, and it's got the correct ID at the end. So if people put it together, they'll see that the meeting ID in the text is different.
Missing. Oh man. Okay. Well, we are recording today's session. I was trying to see if I could
Okay.
send out a quick message over my phone, and I want to be mindful of your time because all of you are here. So
Yep.
hopefully I don't have people trying to get in, but if that's the case, I will do another session tomorrow if it works for people's schedule, or I'll just send them the
Okay.
recording from tonight's session. Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
And I have one more person on the phone.
I also was going to say,
I can
Hello?
hear you now. I couldn't hear you before. Can you start over?
yes, hi, my name is Nicole McPherson.
Hi, Nicole.
And hi, I'm from the Philadelphia area. I've been born and raised here. I've lived in DC and worked in DC and other towns, but I always seem to find my way back here.
Good.
I have a background in project management, and I'm currently working at La Salle, and I'm studying analytics. And because I've always found myself kind of getting people out of jams in that area, and I figured it made sense to study as well. So that was one thing for me. And I think what I wanted to get out of the session this evening, it's just the comfort level with the online classes and making sure that I'm prepared for Monday.
Very good. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Okay. So these are our program learning goals. Some of you may have seen these already if you attended one of my virtual information sessions before you were accepted into the program during the application process. But I always like to share this again. Through our required curriculum here at La Salle, we strive to meet all of these program learning goals. There are 5 of them. And basically, we want graduates of our program to have the ability to think strategically. And we achieve that through knowledge and skills in many of our classes. Our capstone course specifically provides our students with the opportunity to put everything into action so they can learn to think strategically with all of the newly obtained business knowledge that they have. We want graduates of our program to not only obtain leadership skills, but to be the leaders of the business world today. We want graduates of our program to have the oral and written communication skills needed to be those leaders. And that's practiced in every single one of our classes. We want graduates of our program to be aware of the business environment and how it influences effective decisions in the workplace. And finally, we want graduates of our program to know the impact that the financial state of an organization has as a whole, whether it directly impacts that student's day-to-day task or not. This is something that I always have to discuss, and it's not a fun and exciting topic, but there are academic expectations for all of our students. And as a new student about to begin, I need to make sure that all of you are aware of these expectations. There is a GPA requirement for our MBA students, and you must have a GPA of a 3.0 in order to be eligible to graduate from the program. Additionally, you are not permitted to receive more than 2 letter grades of a C. So if you receive a 3rd C, you would at that time be required to retake one of those classes. So at the end of the program, you're only allowed to have 2 Cs. All other grades have to be a B or higher. And you must have a 3.0 in order to graduate. Now, there are some additional GPA requirements for full admission into the program. So if you were admitted under qualified admission or provisional admission, there might be additional standards of achieving a 3.3 GPA in order to be fully admitted. Once you are fully admitted, that's when this 3.0 GPA comes into play to be eligible for graduation. We do allow 7 years to complete your MBA degree requirements. I don't want to scare you. It does not take 7 years, but we have a lot of students that might need to take some time off. We have students that might have to travel for work for a couple of months and they need to take a step away from school. We have students that are getting married or having babies and they just cannot fit school into their already busy and chaotic personal or professional life. And that's okay. We have a very flexible program that we have built here at La Salle. And so we allow a 7-year window because we understand that work comes before La Salle's education and family comes in first. So we understand that we're competing with family life. We're competing with your work obligations. We hope to come in around 3rd, but we understand that you have other priorities. And so we have to be flexible. So on average, it takes our students about 2 years to complete all degree requirements if you continue at the pace and take a class every term. Now, all of you have received a model roster with a recommended course sequence. So you can pull up that model roster, and if you follow that sequence and take a class every term, you can see when your graduation date would be. I can tell you from experience, we have just hit our 3rd year for the online MBA program, and most of our students are able to follow that course sequence. But there are quite a few students that have to make changes to that course sequence and take a term off, maybe rearrange some classes, and there are always changes that are made. We're going to talk about making those changes and how you do that in a couple of slides. And finally, academic integrity. This is something that is really important. You need to understand, as I'm sure you know, your work is your own. Academic dishonesty will not be tolerated. Plagiarism or any other format of academic dishonesty can result in expulsion from the program, dismissal from the university, and you wouldn't be permitted to continue with your MBA degree. And I don't want to see that happen. So make sure you're doing your own work, you're submitting your own work, and that you're getting something out of the program. If you have any questions about any of these academic expectations, certainly let me know and we can have another conversation about it. I want to take a moment to share with you a student testimonial. It's about 1 minute long. This is Erin Sheehan, who talks a little bit about her experience with the online courses and the format of the courses. I'm hoping that you can hear the audio okay through my computer. I have shared my computer audio with you, so there shouldn't be a problem. But if you cannot hear it, please let me know, and I'll just email you the link instead if that's the case.
I think that having an MBA will give me more options going forward, higher paying jobs, just kind of get me the networking that I need to meet new people and kind of explore the different options that are out there. I've wanted to work in corporate media, so maybe working for something like Nielsen Ratings and just being a liaison to bigger companies, with information about the news industry and the telecommunications business. So I'm hoping that I can use my background with television news plus the MBA to kind of tie them all together. I commute to work an hour every day, so it's nice for an online class. You can be sitting at home in your pajamas and just take your time when you can and do it, rather than have to worry about driving to class, making it on time. I mean, there are deadlines at the end of every week, but it's nice to have that flexibility and the comfort of being behind your computer sometimes. One example, how I know that my professors know me even through the online course, is that they're very good about updating office hours too. So whether or not it be a phone call, a time that I can call them, or a time that I can actually go into their office if I want, they're very good about making sure we know when we can see them, when we can have that individual time.
Great, thank you, Erin. So I want to talk a little bit about the class logistics. Our online classes are offered in 8-week terms, and they are offered 5 times a year. So right now, all of you are beginning for our Spring 2 term. The Spring 2 term courses run from March through May. Our Spring 1 classes are just ending this week, so they run January to March. We offer 1 summer term that runs May through July. And then you have a couple of weeks off. We offer 2 terms in the fall. Our Fall 1 term is from August until October, and Fall 2 is October through December. So if you continue at that rate, you have the ability to complete 5 classes per year. When we designed our online MBA program, it was designed from our traditional part-time MBA program, in which classes are offered in a full 16-week semester, 3 times per year, fall, spring, and summer. Our goal was to make sure that our online students were able to continue at the pace of taking 2 classes per semester, which is traditionally what our students have done in a part-time program. But because it's online, we wanted our students to have the ability to only focus on 1 class at a time. And so that's why we decided to do the 8-week terms. It is our recommendation to take only one class, 3 credits per term. I had this conversation with many students who want to complete the program a little bit faster. And while it is a possibility to complete your degree faster and take 2 classes per term, it's not my recommendation because it is a very demanding workload. For our students that are working full-time with additional personal obligations, family, children, it is very difficult to take 2 classes per term because they are already condensed 8-week classes. If you have questions about your course sequence and you want to talk more about that possibility of taking more than 1 class per term, I'm happy to have that conversation with you and talk through it so that everybody can fully understand. So because these classes are 100% online, the online classes begin the first day of the term. So because our classes begin on Monday, March 9th, you need to log into the class on Canvas on Monday, March 9th, and you need to log in that morning. There might be assignments that you need to begin working on that very day. You cannot wait until Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday to open up your online course and see what you have to do because you may have missed assignments by that point. Classes begin that first day, so you need to make sure you're ready to go when the semester begins. MBA Math is a course that is required for some of our students that may not have as much of a business background. This is a course that is required with our foundation classes 601 and 602. So if you are required to take those courses, you are also required to take MBA Math. You should have received additional information from me with instructions on how to take this course. As it's not a LaSalle course, it is a third-party course and it's self-paced. We expect that the MBA Math course will be completed by the end of your first term. So you have until May 15th to submit submit your MBA transcript. Now be mindful of which lessons you have to complete in MBA Math. The instructions that I sent you with the passcode to receive a discounted rate also includes a list of which sessions, which lessons you have to complete. You don't have to complete the entire course. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of that as well. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about the specialization tracks. These are 3 classes that you will select in the program. Some of you have already selected a specialization and you selected your specialization track on your application. And if that's the case, then your model roster clearly indicates which of those specialization tracks you are a part of and what those 3 classes are that you have to take. The general business track allows our students to take 3 classes in any of the other specialization tracks, or perhaps our students that choose the general track just didn't know what they want to specialize in. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that specialization in a couple of slides, but I just wanted to touch upon it real quick here. So this is our MBA curriculum. It's a little bit hard to read everything here, but this is essentially what it looks like. I'm going to go to the next slide, which shows our model roster, and it shows the courses a little clearer for you to see. Everybody should have received a model roster and course sequence at the time that you were accepted into the program. The model roster will tell you which courses you qualify for any waivers from, and that recommended course sequence is what is recommended for you to complete your courses in a particular order to reach graduation. For those of you that are required to take our foundation courses, you will see that you are recommended to take 601 and 602 together. And that's because those are 2 1.5 credit courses for a total of 3 credits. I mentioned earlier that I don't recommend any students take more than 1 class per term. And what I probably should have said is I don't recommend any students take more than 3 credits per term. So MBA 601 and 602 were created and designed to be taken together since they're both 1.5 credit courses. Every other course in the program is a 3 credit course. 601 and 602 must be completed in your first term if you are required to take those courses. They help give you that business background that you'll need to be successful in the more challenging courses in our program. This is a roster that showcases our general business specialization. And you can see those 3 specialization courses are blank. This slide here shows you what the different specializations are that you can choose from. So if you've already selected your track, you will be able to see the 3 classes under that particular track that you will take in our program. So for example, if you have entered the program as a finance specialization, you'll complete a course in financial instruments and markets, portfolio management, and global financial management. So for those students in the general business track, you have the option to select 3 classes from accounting, business analytics, finance management, or marketing. Or you could make the choice to change your specialization to one of those specific tracks. I want anybody under the general business track to make sure that you think very carefully about this over the next couple of terms. I have built into your course sequence a specialization, but we don't offer specialization courses every term. We offer specialization courses every other term. So for example, if you want to specialize in finance, you cannot take a finance class every term. It's only every other term, which means out of those 3 classes, each individual class is offered every 6 terms. So it's always best if you can review all of the courses. All of the course descriptions are on our website, and select the courses as early as possible that you would like to take. If you can let me know what those courses are, we can build them into your schedule. The last thing I'd want to see is when you get to the end of the program and you don't have a specialization course you want to take in that particular term, you might not have an option. And we want to make sure you take classes that you're mostly interested in. So I'm going to show you on our website where to find those classes. If you go to lasalle.edu/MBA, and then I'll scroll down and select the online MBA program. Under online programs, MBA programs, you want to select the Master of Business Administration General Online. Once you're here, you can click on courses, and you'll be able to view all of the specialization courses that we offer. There are 3 classes under each track, and as I mentioned, the general track, you can pick any of the 3 classes that you would like. If you select on a particular course, you'll be able to read that course description and what the prerequisites are. Once you know what specialization courses you want to take, send me an email and we'll update your course sequence accordingly so that we can make sure you're taking the classes that you really want to take. I feel like I may have missed a slide. No, I didn't. Okay, so if there are any questions about our course sequence, your specialization courses, the model roster, our curriculum, please let me know. So now we have to talk about financial matters. Tuition is always due the Friday before classes begin. Unfortunately, our online MBA program is not eligible for payment plan options, so tuition is always due in full the Friday before classes begin. So that deadline is tomorrow. So if you haven't yet paid your tuition, tuition must be submitted by March 6th, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Our policy in the online MBA program is that any students that don't submit payment in full by 3 p.m., the Friday before classes begin, get automatically dropped from classes. So the last thing I want to see is have you dropped from class before you even get a chance to get started. So if you're having any difficulties, you can't find the right place to pay your tuition, give me a call, send me an email, I'll help you walk through that process. If you thought you applied for financial aid or you thought that was completed and you received an email from me today saying that your tuition was not paid yet, that means your financial aid hasn't been processed. So if you need to do that, we can certainly put you in touch with our financial aid office, but it may be too late to receive financial aid for this coming term unless you've already significantly begun that process and you were just missing one item. But our financial aid office will be able to confirm those details for you. Anybody who submitted financial aid and was approved for the spring semester, you do need to complete new financial aid application for the summer term. It's our new fiscal year, so whatever you submitted for this class, for this term starting on Monday, is not applicable for summer. So make sure that you do a new application for the summer semester. It's important that you know our tuition refund policy for dropping a course we'll provide you a 100% refund on day 1 and day 2 only. So if for any reason you decide that you can't continue with the class, it's not what you expected, something else happened at work or at home, and you just can't commit to the workload, you have until Tuesday, next Tuesday, March 10th, at the close of business, which is 4:30 p.m., in order to drop a course for a full refund. After the after the second day, but during the first week, you will receive a 60% refund. So that's if you drop the class next Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So you would have to let us know by Friday at 4:30 if you want to drop a class to receive that 60% refund. After the first week, there's no tuition refund. However, you do have until April 20th to withdraw from a class. So the withdrawals for any students that something may come up, you're not able to continue the course for a number of different reasons, and you're running the risk of failing the class because you can't keep up with the coursework or you can't complete the coursework. The withdrawal will allow you to receive a W for that class. It will not affect your GPA at all. You will have to retake the class and pay for it again, but it won't be affected by your GPA. So you have until April 20th to withdraw from a class. There's a lot of student support and resources available for our students. When you were accepted into the program and you decided to register, you received an email from me confirming your registration with a link to view your textbook requirements. If you haven't done that yet, certainly do that tonight or tomorrow. It's important to have your textbooks ready when the classes begin on Monday. Our classwork begins on Monday when the class begins. So you don't want to wait a week or 2 weeks for that textbook, because by that point you're going to miss a significant amount of work and possibly missed assignments as well. So you want to make sure you have those textbooks before classes begin. We offer a writing support services. It's called the Shiki Writing Center, and it's located at our main campus. If you're unable to travel to the main campus, you can certainly work with our writing support services remotely. You can work with them through email or schedule phone calls. The writing support services at the Shiki Writing Center is definitely something I would recommend. When I was a student in the program, I didn't know about it until I was in, I think, my last semester. And it was so helpful for me. You know, when you write a paper, you get tired of reading the same thing over and over again. So having somebody else take a look at it, they can catch grammatical errors, they can help you with the flow of the paper, they catch things that you may not catch because you wrote the paper and you've read it over so many times. It's nice to have an extra set of eyes look at your work. We also have learning support. So if there's any additional learning support that you may need, let me know and I will certainly put you in touch with the right department here at LaSalle. We offer a program Canvas site for all of our online MBA students. This is where we have all program information and announcements. So we've communicated over the phone thus far throughout the application process. I've emailed with you, but all program information, announcements that I make to all of our students, they're not emailed to our students. They are sent through this Canvas site. So I have here, you should have access to the site as of today, but it's actually as of tomorrow. That hasn't been processed yet. So keep an eye out for that. You should have access to that Canvas site by tomorrow. And take a few minutes to look around. We'll have the new student orientation document that I emailed to you will be up on that site. We'll have this recording from tonight's session up on that site. Registration information. It gives you the opportunity to talk with some other MBA students. So it's a great resource. If you have questions, you can always log into this Canvas site and your questions and, I should say your answers will probably be there. If you can't find it, then you can pick up the phone and call me or email me. Of course, you can do that at any time, but you should be able to find answers to all of your questions through the Canvas site. I want to take a quick minute to show you a little bit about our library resources. This is important for all of our MBA students, but in particular for all of you because you're in an online program. You may never come to LaSalle's campus until graduation, and hopefully you'll come to campus for graduation, but some of you may not have the ability to do that, and that's okay. We have everything available to our online MBA students, any other graduate student at LaSalle, really, electronically. Ethne Bearden is our reference librarian who has really taken ownership of the MBA student, and she's put together this MBA library guide. And this MBA library guide will give you the ability to view all of the information available to our MBA students. It's a great resource. You can see here we have Standard & Poor's, Market Line Advantage, Edgar, ThomasNet, Nexus Uni. There's so much available here for our students, and it's available to you for free. So it is important for you to take advantage of that and utilize these resources for you as an MBA student. I'll just scroll through a couple of the pages, but I'll also send you this link. It's on our Canvas site so that you can access it at any time. You will have to do research throughout your time in the program, and all of your research, you'll have to utilize the library. And this is a great way to access the information you need, and everything is piled into one place for you. So it's a great thing that our library has done for our students. I like to talk about career services because we do have a career services department. Many of our MBA students are working full-time. They are secured in their job. They're getting an MBA degree to work their way up. Occasionally, we have students that may want to do a career change, or they are applying for a new job. Our Career Services Center can help with resume building. They can help with interview skills. And so while many of our graduate students don't need the service of the Career Services Center, I always like to talk about it to make you aware that it is there, it is available, and they do work with our graduate students. There's a lot of technology available for our students. These are a few of the things that I want to touch upon, and I'm going to take you over to the website to show you a little bit about our portal and how to access the Canvas. I know some of you have mentioned you were having some difficulty navigating through the different portals, so I do want to take a moment to share that with you. Let's see, I didn't have a link here. Okay, so if you go to lasalle.edu and you click on My LaSalle over here, then you will want to log in with your portal credentials. I hope all of you have received your portal credentials at this point in time. You should have received an email from our IT department. If you have not received your portal credentials, please let me know. Log something into the chat feature. Let me know you haven't received them so we can follow up with the IT department first thing tomorrow morning. Once you log in, you'll be able to access the portal. So this is information that the general public does not have access to. There's a lot of information available. This is where you go to apply for graduation, which I know you don't need yet. But you'll be able to view final grades, course evaluations, registration information. A couple of things up here under tools I want to point out to you. The first thing is Canvas. Canvas is kind of like your university. So generally speaking, traditionally, you'll walk onto campus and you have your university, and then you'll enter different buildings for different classes. In the online world, the university, the campus is Canvas. And then you have different courses, which are like the buildings that you would walk into for those classes. So this is kind of like your campus. You can see here, the online MBA program information is the Canvas site that I told you about. So there's a lot of information to help navigate your journey through the MBA program. Program course information here. We have information on advising. We have course descriptions. We have campus locations if you ever need to come to campus. We have all of our policies and processes. Right here, this is where you're going to want to go first. New student orientation. We have our new student orientation guides, tips for success. There is a university orientation that I recommend you complete. I'm going to send you the link to view that directly, but you can access this here as well. So you'll receive that link tomorrow. This orientation is university sponsored, and it helps you learn about the university and the basics on online education. It's not MBA specific. The Connolly Library. So this is going to show you that same link that I had just shared with you. Oh, let's go back. So we have our catalog here, the academic calendar, information on the bookstore, the Shiki Writing Center. Everything you should need to know is available here through the portal. And if it's not, I would ask you to let me know so that I can help you find that information. You know what? I wasn't done. So let me go back. I closed out of that. So I'm going to log back into the portal. So back under tools, I shared with you Canvas. The other thing I want to show you is Brother Lewis. Brother Lewis is where we store a lot of information, your personal information. So this is going to be your address, your phone number, marital status. If you move, you want to update your address, you'll want to click on this personal information to update your address. If you get a new phone number, you'll want to make sure you keep all of your personal contact information updated with the university. If you click on Student Services, this is probably where you will go the most within Brother Lewis. You'll be able to review your final grades once you complete a course. You'll be able to review your registration status. So you don't have to register for any classes in this program. All of that registration happens through the MBA office. We follow that recommended course sequence unless you tell us otherwise. But if you want to make sure that your registration was processed correctly, you can check that here. So if you click on registration, you'll be able to view registration information. Of course, there's not going to be anything showing from me because I'm not linked as a student, so I won't be able to view anything, but you'll be able to view your schedule and what classes you're registered for. Student accounts and receivables, where you go to view your tuition invoice and pay your bill. So if you click on student accounts receivable, you'll want to then click on view and pay my e-bill. So if you haven't yet paid your tuition, this is what you need to do tomorrow before 3 p.m. It's going to direct you to another site, and it's going to share with you your tuition invoice, and then you'll have the ability to pay tuition. So this button right here, make a payment, and then you can pay by credit card, or you can do an electronic transfer from your checking account. Next to tools is an email link. You want to make sure that you have access to email. Going forward, you have communicated with me through your personal email account. Going forward, all communication from the university will go to your LaSalle email account. You want to make sure that you have access to that. You don't want to miss any notifications from the program or from your instructor. So you want to make sure that you get into the habit of checking your LaSalle email on a regular basis. The last thing I want to show you here is, where did that go? Help desk. If you're having any technical problems whatsoever, the help desk is available for you. You can access the help desk electronically. You can submit a ticket through the portal. You can email them. You can call them. They have a lot of hours. They're available until 10 p.m. during the week, until 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. So if you have any technical problems whatsoever, let's say you get locked out of your LaSalle email for some reason, you need to get that fixed right away because you're an online MBA student, you can contact the help desk to get that taken care of right away. So make sure to utilize the help desk. They are here to service you. If you have any questions, I went through all of that really quickly, but if you have more questions about Canvas or the portal, how to find something, just let me know. I'm always willing to walk you through something over the phone, help you find something. There's so much available. It could take me hours to show you everything, but if you need something specifically, just let me know. I want to take a moment to introduce Maulik Patel. I know he just recently joined us. Maulik is one of our online MBA students, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for all of our new students to hear from one of our current students. Maulik enrolled in our online MBA program in the spring of 2018 semester. So he just hit his 2-year mark, and he's graduating in May. He is starting his very last class on Monday, so it's very exciting, and I want to take an opportunity to say congratulations to Maulik. He's completing the management specialization track, and I'm going to turn it over to Mulek to talk to you for a couple of minutes to talk about his experience in the program, and then open it up to all of you to see if you have any questions. I know you can ask me lots of questions, but sometimes it's different to talk specifically to a current student enrolled in the program. So Mulek, I'm going to take a moment to unmute your phone, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me, Nicole?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
All right, perfect. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for the very kind introduction, Nicole. I appreciate it. I'm very excited to graduate. And I guess I'll get right into it. So, one of the popular questions, I guess, or more frequent question that we may ask ourselves is, why should we pursue an MBA degree, and why should I choose LaSalle, right? So I'll share with you my experience, and then at the end, like Nicole said, if you have any questions, just let me know. So pursuing an MBA degree to me was part of a professional goal I had set for myself once I entered the corporate world, right? So I planned to work for a few years prior to pursuing my MBA so I could combine my work experiences with the learnings I would obtain from my MBA program. An MBA truly helps with the application of work and school experiences and leadership opportunities. So it opens up a lot of doors to move into senior roles and then management eventually. Right, and that has been one of my goals, professional goals, I should say, that I had set for myself. And by furthering my education and receiving an MBA degree, there's a greater chance for more opportunities for me within my current company, which is what I intend to do. I intend to stay with the company if I do see those opportunities being presented to me. I had done a significant amount of research as to which school I wanted to receive my MBA degree from. However, LaSalle University truly stood out to me for several reasons. LaSalle offers a variety of paths you can take in terms of a specialization, right? So, which you'll notice, you may not have found that or find that at other schools, as the focuses may be limited, which I found in my research. So LaSalle, on the other hand, offers 6 tracks or specialization, so to speak. And I don't know, I joined later, but I'll still kind of outline what those are. It's general MBA, accounting, business systems and analytics, finance, management, which is what I'm pursuing my MBA in, and marketing. So the management specialization program specifically stood out to me as my undergraduate degree is in human resource management. And as a result, I've been working in HR management, and currently I'm an HR business partner for about 600 employees that report up into my into me. It's indirectly and directly. So the management specialization program was an ideal track for me. It had my name written all over it, as I always say. This degree will certainly help me move into a leadership role very soon, from what I hear. In terms of time commitment and flexibility, I'd be lying to you if I said my MBA journey was a breeze. Anyone who tells you that is probably not getting the most out of whatever program they're in, or whatever school they're attending. Basically, setting you up to fail, right? So it's not as easy as the others may have perceived it. Nicole and I spoke yesterday, where I find some people I know find certain programs easier than others, but here's what I think of LaSalle, right? So you'll definitely need to put in time to ensure you're completing your course readings and assignments in a timely manner, ensuring you're meeting your deadlines. Having said that, the program is designed for working professionals, certainly. Professionals with full-time jobs. The school is well aware of this. In some classes, you may put in more time than in other classes. And in those other classes, you may find that you have more free time. Your proactiveness in completing coursework and the ability to create your own schedule after work, per se, will determine how you do in a particular class and in the overall program. If you make time during the week for school, you will not have a problem succeeding in the specialization you choose. Let me give you a couple personal examples. So last year, I went away, I believe it was last year, 2018, but I went away on a trip after my classes ended in December. It was December 2018 for 3 weeks. I came back just in time for classes to start again in 2019 of January. 1 week into my class, I was diagnosed with typhoid from the country I came back from, and I was home for 4 months. Within those 4 months, I was hospitalized twice for 1 week each time. The professors and the program as a whole were super flexible with me, and they provided that I was unable to submit my assignments by the deadlines due to my medical state at the time. However, I was provided extensions, so I was able to complete all of my classwork and receive an A in both classes, just to kind of put things in perspective, right? Nicole and the former MBA director got on a call with me, so they were involved in this process. This also shows the attention and care Nicole and the MBA management team shows their students. Another quick fact I want to share with you is that I travel quite a bit in my personal life with friends and my family. I'm big on that. I'm a huge family person, and I give equal time to my friends as well. And never did I have to cancel any plans due to schooling in the 2 years that I've been at LaSalle. Did I have to schedule my plans around my classes? Yes, of course, right? I had to get, Nicole can tell you how many times I emailed her asking for help for the roster, and then she directed me to a really helpful site that, you'll find where there's an entire agenda roster for the semester, and that can kind of help you plan any personal events that are going on in your life at the time. I made sure to complete my assignments prior to me going on vacations, so that stayed ahead of my deadlines, right? So such examples kind of show the flexibility of the program, as LaSalle understands you may have a full-time job, a family, and other like commitments, right? If your job requires you to travel, as long as you take initiative and set a schedule for yourself that you follow, you'll do just fine. This was the advice that was provided to me, and it was true. And now I'm sharing it with you, as I'm living proof of this advice. Another question that I thought may be worth going over with you is, how have you been able to apply what you're learning to your job? So I've certainly rather been able to apply what I've learned and currently learning in the program to my current job as an HR business partner. So I'm able to think from a leadership standpoint, make HR specific decisions, utilizing the skills I've learned and further developed through this program, think strategically, and ultimately think outside the box. That's huge. You're going to learn, if you choose the MBA route, you're going to learn a lot of how to think outside the box and think critically, find solutions, and prepare for executive meetings and projects accordingly. No more of the, oh, I'm just going to forward this email over to the next person, they'll take care of it. You will truly want to, get to the bottom of an issue that you may be having at work or a specific project, and you'll naturally find yourself kind of becoming a leader without you even knowing it. And finally, when I first started the program, I wish I would have had someone who was experienced within this program, specifically at LaSalle, to share their experience with me. Like I'm kind of sharing my experience with you, to put things in perspective and, quite frankly, keep it real. I was part of a fairly new batch of the online MBA at the time. I think I was like the second batch of students to try the 100% online program. Other than that, I would say Nicole did a fantastic job keeping in touch and answering a lot of my questions. Mind you, there were a lot of students apart from me, but she was able to kind of stay on top of it, and and she does a good job, and the team itself does a really good job staying in touch with the students. And like I said, the team is fantastic and super responsive for sure, which is a plus when you have questions or concerns as a student. You're paying lots of money, you're investing in yourself, your company is investing in you, if your company's paying for this program. So I definitely think that if you're looking for a school that is truly caring, and a school where you're actually going to walk away with a strong learning experience, LaSalle is the way to go. And I will also tell you, Nicole didn't come to me and ask me to do this presentation. I volunteered myself, So I just want to kind of put that out there. There's nothing in it for me. I'm truly taking out the time out of my day to share my experience with you because I had a great experience. I've learned a lot, and I'm super excited to graduate. So with all of that being said, does anyone have any general or specific questions for me?
Out of curiosity,
Questions, you can unmute yourself or you can log the question into the chat. I'm sorry, did I just talk over somebody?
Yeah,
yeah, no worries.
Nicole, if somebody puts a question in the chat, do you mind just reading it to me? I'm not
Yep.
sure how to use it on my phone.
Of
Okay,
course.
thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Absolutely. Malik, just out of curiosity, how many hours a week would you say that you spent on coursework, classwork, things like that?
Sure. So as I mentioned, it depends on the class, right? So some classes are super intensive, especially when you're starting to get done with your core classes and moving into your specialization. Per week, so I come home, let's say I come home from work at 6 p.m., right? Probably from 6, depending on the class. If it was a class on the more difficult side, let's say, I would say I would do about 3 to 4 hours per night. And this is me being proactive, right? So assignments are usually due Sunday night at La Salle, and for most classes at least. And so I would start at my work for the week Monday, go through the week, and then by Sunday of the following week I would finish. So I would say about 4 hours for an excessive, like, harder class, and then for a more low key class, I guess, for lack of a better word, I would say maybe 2 hours. And it all depends, right? So I don't want you to take my timing so seriously, because I am, and Nicole knows this about me, I go above and beyond. That's just how I am naturally. I didn't really need to be working from my hospital bed, but I had my laptop there and I was doing my schoolwork. And so where the doctors were trying to take my laptop away, but it's just how I am. So don't, so you may finish quicker than I do in terms of assignments, but that's my average I would give you.
And I'll just add to that. Thank
Yeah.
you, Malik. Everybody is different with that time commitment. So
Right, agreed.
it depends on the course, it depends on the content, but it also depends on you. How much you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So if you don't put in as much time and effort, you won't get as much out of that particular class. So it's really dependent upon what you want to gain out of the class and the program and how much time you're able to commit. Are there any other questions for Malik? Well, I want to thank Malik for joining us tonight. As he mentioned, he did volunteer to join us today. This is the first time that I've had one of our online MBA students join our orientation. I've done this orientation 13 times now since we rolled out our online MBA program from the beginning. And so I've done it 13 times and I've never had a student come live and provide a student testimonial. So I think this is great. I think it's a benefit for students to talk directly to another student, to hear their experience, to hear about their time commitment, how they were able to apply information into the real world. And like Malik said, I gave him a few pointers on what I think students would be interested in hearing, but he took it and he rolled with it. I asked him to talk for like 3 to 5 minutes and he went above and beyond, as you can see. So I want to thank you for your time tonight, Malik. I'm going to move on in the presentation, and if there are any other questions that students have, if it's okay with you, I can certainly put them in touch with you via email.
Yes, for sure. I was going to recommend that. You can give them my email and I'll be sure to answer any questions. I'll definitely be open to that.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
So as we approach the end of our time together this evening, I want to open it up one more time for all of you to participate. I have 2 questions on the screen in front of you. First question is, what are your expectations for the program? And how does it fit into your professional development? The second question is, what unique skills and or background will you be able to bring to the program to assist your fellow classmates? Like, what can other classmates learn from you? So I'm going to ask you to pick one question. You don't need to answer both, but pick one question and give us a short answer, and then we'll move on. Can I have Jake? Would you be willing to go first?
Sure, absolutely. One of the things that I think I could bring to the program, I have a lot of personal experience in dealing with C-level and A-level executives. So I think that may help in the long run, especially if a lot of people don't have the experience of dealing with that one-on-one conversation sort of work setting.
Very good. Thank you, Jake. And these are good things to know. As you're getting to know fellow classmates, you're going to learn a lot about them. I have found that our online students have a closer, what's the right word I want to look for? They're a little bit closer, I guess is the right way to say it, just closer than our traditional part-time students. Traditional part-time students will come into the classroom, listen to the lecture, participate in class, and then leave and go home. Our online students have to work throughout the entire week, and you develop these relationships with the online students that I haven't seen in our other MBA programs. So it's a really neat thing to see happen. But you'll be able to learn from each other, and you'll get to know what skills and backgrounds each of your fellow classmates may have, and who to go to for whatever you may need. So that's great. Thank you, Jake. Chris Simons.
Sure. So yeah, I've been working as a software developer for about 15 or 16 years now. So I guess one thing I would bring, I guess sort of on a practical level, is a comfort with technology, in case that's needed in any of our group projects or anything. And also, I guess, just a lot of experience in project work, building sort of concrete, sort of tangible things. Where I've worked, we haven't used a lot of like formal project management methodologies. But we've done a lot of project work, so maybe that'll be helpful somewhere.
Great, thank you. Billy.
So some unique skills I can bring to the table. One is that I started working at a very young age, working in the family business, so I know what it's like to really get grinding and working. I also taught me some great time management skills, which I currently use in my position today, as I also have a strong asset of Microsoft Excel, so I could bring that to the table as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Nicole. Nicole, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear
great.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I tend to write very well, and I've been a resource for many people, and I've done a lot of work in Excel and Access and Microsoft Project and all manner of those things. So that's pretty much where I have a comfort level, and so I'm hoping that this program helps me to use all the other skills that I bring to the table and kind of really excel.
Very good. Thank you, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris McGovern.
Hi, this is Chris talking. Well, I was looking at the roster, and I'm going to answer the what can I bring to the table question. I have a feeling that, especially on the front end of the courses, there might be a kind of a theoretical aspect to them, definitely number crunching. I know that a lot of these courses are front-loaded with accounting, and I come from an engineering background, so I would hope to, offer my assistance with either numbers or just math in general. For example, they might have an equation come out, and people might want to understand where that equation comes from, or they can't seem to get it right when they plug the numbers in. And I hope to offer my assistance in that way, technically.
Okay, everybody heard that, right? Don't forget that he offered his assistance there. One of the best things I can recommend to all of you is to take the opportunity to work with each other. You're in an online program. You're sitting probably at your desk at work or your computer at home in your pajamas, and you're by yourself. But you're not by yourself in the class or in the program. You just have to reach out to people, get to know people, and work with them. Just because you can't see somebody face-to-face doesn't mean that you can't have study sessions. You can talk to them on the phone. You can create an online class, kind of like we're doing tonight. There's a lot of opportunity for our students to work with each other. And if I can give you one piece of advice, tonight, that may be it. Definitely take advantage of working with each other and learning from each other. And if you're confused about something or you see somebody else struggling, reach out to them, work with each other. I think that would be a great asset to all of you. So there's a couple of things I want you to keep in mind as you begin this journey to obtain your MBA degree. Classes haven't started yet, but you're just a couple of days away. So what should you keep in mind? Your computer is going to crash. That's just life, that happens. Technology is wonderful, isn't it? But sometimes it's not. And when that happens, usually when your computer crashes, it's when a paper's due or you have a big project due. So make sure you plan for that. Make sure you're saving your work on a regular basis so you don't lose anything. Your businesses and work requirements are probably going to interfere with your class and assignments. But you need to find a way to manage everything. You need to talk with your professor, talk to me. Communication is key here, and you need to make sure you're communicating because none of us can help you through your program and help you succeed and support you if we don't know what's going on. So make sure you're communicating with us. The MBA program is going to give you an opportunity to improve your listening skills. You're going to be expected to contribute. And you're not going to be able to hide in the back of a classroom. You know, traditionally, if you can remember, maybe if you attended traditional education for your undergraduate program and you were on campus, you could sneak into a class, sit in the back of the class, never raise your hand, and just kind of sail through the class. That's not an option for an online MBA program. Your name is out there, and your professor can call on you, just like I called on all of you today. You're expected to contribute. You're expected to be ready. If there's a discussion that you need to participate in, you're expected to have read the textbook and the content for that week so that you know what you're talking about. And you can improve your listening skills because you're going to have an opportunity to listen to your classmates, to read what they write in discussion boards, to talk with them, and that's going to help you with your own knowledge and insights. As we learned tonight in the brief introduction we had to your fellow classmates, your colleagues do have a lot to offer. And so you want to take advantage of that in your MBA journey. You're going to learn from the content of the courses, you're going to learn from your professors, but you can add to that by learning from each other. Take some time each week and reflect upon the lessons that you've learned and look for it in the workplace. Tonight, Mulik talked a little bit about some of the things that he was able to bring from the classroom into the workplace and how he was able to take what he was learning and really apply it to his job. And you can do that too. So look for things in the workplace. How can you improve something based on what you're learning in the classroom? Finally, the MBA is a huge investment. I'm sure you already know this. Tuition, opportunity cost, personal and career energy. It's a lot and it's not expected to be easy, but you're going to get a lot out of it. So handle it as such. Be responsible and take it seriously. So I want to take a moment to see if there are any additional questions. A reminder, I do have all of you muted. I'm going to go through and unmute everybody. So if you have any questions, you can certainly just ask those questions, or you can log your question into the chat. Some of you I'm unable to mute, so you might have to do that yourself. But if there are any questions, let me know.
Hi, this is Chris McGovern. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Chris.
Hey, I don't expect an answer over the phone now, but I was wondering if in the future, if I were to ask about a particular class when it is offered, would you be able to provide me the terms that certain classes would be offered in?
I can, absolutely. So in the online MBA program, we have what we call a course carousel, and we know what classes will be offered every term. You know, I could look out 5 years from now and tell you what class is going to be offered. We provide that course sequence to all of our students so that we know how many students need which particular class in a given term. So we know if we have to open up a second section or if we have to add a class because we have too many students enrolled. But yeah, if you are looking at a particular class and we want to make changes to that course sequence, I can tell you what terms that class is going to be offered. The good news is that beginning next spring of 2021, we are beginning to offer every required class every term, 5 times a year. So up until this time, we're in our 3rd year of the program. We've offered classes on like 2 terms. We'd offer a class and we'd have 2 terms off. And that was really based on a student demand. And so it became difficult to schedule certain students because not every class was offered every term. But beginning next spring, based on the students that we have in the program, the demand of the students, our program has grown significantly. We have the ability now to offer every class, which is awesome. The specialization courses will continue as they are. So they will not be offered every term. They are continuing to be offered on a rotation. So those are the classes that are most important to plan ahead.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions today? I know we went through so much information today. You might have questions as soon as we end this orientation, or you might have questions while you're laying in bed tonight thinking about everything, and that's okay. I'm here and available to talk with you. So if you have questions tomorrow or even tonight in the middle of the night, send me a quick email before you forget. Send me an email or give me a phone call at any time, and I'm happy to talk with you.
Just to confirm, Chris mentioned sanity check earlier, so I just want to kind of ride the coattails of that. So starting Monday, we just go to Canvas, and then from there, instructions will be provided for the classes that we have signed up for.
Yes, so I have asked all faculty to publish their Canvas course. There have been times in the past where classes don't get published until Monday morning. So I have begun requesting that our professors publish their courses early. Not all of them are published as of yet, but hopefully most of them are. So you may be able to access the information today. At the minimum, before classes start, you will have access to view the syllabus, so you can at least get a head start in preparing what the workload will be like for you. But Monday morning is when you really need to understand what your expectations are for a week. Many of our courses require initially a discussion question. So what that means is in Canvas, there's a discussion board and there will be a question posted. And generally by Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll have to answer that question. And then you'll have to address some of your classmates' questions and respond to them. So initially that may be your first assignment. Other classes will require that you do an introduction on Monday. So you might have to do an introduction on the first day of the term. So be prepared for that as well. But generally it's just an introduction that you would have to do that first day. So what are your next steps? We started talking a little bit about that with Jake's question. The first thing you have to do is make sure your tuition is paid by tomorrow at 3 p.m. or you may be dropped from your class, and I don't want to see that happen to anybody. The next thing you have to do, if you haven't already, is purchase your textbooks. You have the opportunity to get a student ID. I understand, I just realized just now that we didn't go over this process. It must have been removed from one of my slides and I'm not sure why. So I'll have to get that back in. But you can get your student ID right through the portal. You can upload a picture and you can request that that ID get mailed to you. So you don't have to come to campus to get that, but I do recommend that all of our students obtain a LaSalle student ID. Then take some time over the next couple of days before classes start on Monday to familiarize yourself with the My LaSalle portal. Review the information that's available to you in the Canvas site. You should receive access to that by tomorrow. And then, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have an online orientation that's available on Canvas. This is the university online orientation to give you a little bit of information about the university and online education in general. So that would be a great resource for you before you begin the program on Monday. That is generally everything that I like to cover during our new student orientation. If there are any additional questions, I'm going to stick around for a couple of minutes, but if there are not, then you are free to go. I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm looking forward to working with you over the next couple of years as you earn your MBA degree. And finally, welcome to LaSalle.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
Thanks again, Nicole. Goodbye.